Okay, I don't think you can see them no matter how I tried, but right here there are two spots that are, what do they call them these days? Do they still call them handicap parking spots or what? But anyway, that's where I first saw those fleet people. Yeah. Anyway, I better wrap this up. It's probably too long, and but yeah, I embarrassed myself because the pharmacist came around the corner, and there was a wall on the countertop right there, and I didn't see him come up. And then when it just all of a sudden jotted out. That's how it looked to me, not actually how it was, but to me because of the little wall. And I jumped, and they both started laughing, and I was so embarrassed. It wasn't because of that. It was just because my eyes were looking in not a good section of the store and all. It was like, turn around, boom. My hands raised and all this stuff. And it was kind of funny. I say it's funny too, so okay. But I got it clear with him, and just what he said was exactly what I think too. That she really didn't know about this, and then she said she'd send me to an endocrinologist. That will be good, because she said one point, she said, you got so much going on, and I said exactly, and she can't handle all this. She's not a doctor, so she's not an endocrinologist. So anyway, I'm wrapping up. Talk to you on another video. Bye. I gotta remind myself to put a photo or maybe the video of these parking spots. Now that's why I did it right now. I started it off to remind myself to do so. I took a couple pictures of where I first saw. I think it was the very first time I saw the people I later, much later, like a couple months or so, started calling these fleet people. And they were both cars were parked in a handicap spot. I guess that's what they still call it, a handicap spot. And side by side, those two that I'm going to show in that picture and or video. The video I'm not so sure about. It's got too much music, and maybe I'll put it at the end, I don't know, and then add different music to it. But yeah, they were parked there. They drove up as I was sitting, basically kind of like where I was sitting when I took those pictures. And they drove up, and each one took that. They were not handicapped. It's these fleet people that later, I kept seeing, same thing, gray or silver sedans, usually missing one hubcap on the passenger front tire. They had obviously been in a wreck. They were older. They were not in good shape. They had nothing personalized about the inside or outside. And they drove well, all of them that I actually saw, they did something that is wrong. Something that is against, like here in Texas, I saw one thing from, I think it's TxDOT, and it was online, and it said about speeding, the speed limits. How did it go? It was, I could hear the guy who wrote it say it. I mean, I don't know who he is, but just the way it was written was something like, it is the law. It was something like that. And it is the law. But, yeah, I mean, these speed limits are not just suggestions. And in my life, the people who think that way are the ones that a lot of people would pile under narcissistic, okay? But no, it is the law. They would park in handicapped spots. They would drive like unbelievable. They'd park, I met a lot of them. Whenever I went to deliver, they would be there before or after. Before or drive up while I'm still there. Or they were still sitting there when I drove up. You see what I'm saying? Both ways. Either way. Either or. And they were doing something wrong, like parking right in the middle of the street in a neighborhood where people are supposed to be able to go down, or in the other lane, and like my lane, parked right there, just parked so they could go deliver. Parking the handicap, I've already said that, and just driving, weaving in and out of traffic, like the one that did that after. And I always get this wrong, and I just said it before and said I've got this wrong. Looked it up. Funeral procession, or yeah, right? And I was at the end of it. I was where the cops stopped, because the church was on the other side of the street coming out, and he stopped traffic, and I was the first person in the right lane that he stopped. This jerk was the first person in the left lane. And when the cop moved, he got in between me and the truck, and it was an SUV actually, in front of me that was in that procession, and was trying to rush them. I mean, really? No respect? Oh, it was all about him. And then he wound up being at the house, just delivered his stuff as I drove up, and he was still sitting there. And parked on the wrong side of the street, at the end of the street where you're not supposed to park your car. Okay. How many times have I seen this? They have like the old-fashioned taxi driver kind of way of driving. You know, stereotypes are bad. So it shouldn't really be used. But I'm saying that as if you remember what an old-fashioned taxi driver, a stereotypical one, was like. Like the person who's just stopped behind me. But Adam's seen it. You know, at first he didn't believe me, and since he's seen it, I can't believe these people. Seriously, the last one he saw was with me, was one that is doing what this one I think is going to do. Nope, they moved. Park where is the line, you know, it says do not park in red on the curb in front of a store, and that one did right there. And I had to point it out to him because he's outside smoking a cigarette, looking around in the world. He and I are so different, man. You wouldn't believe. We've known one another over 40 years, and so different. But I'm all into what's going on around me, you know, and everything, and he's like in the dreamland, just looking around. Doesn't notice things though, because I had to point it out, because he was just seriously looking around, and I'm sitting in the SUV and I'm pointing toward it, telling him, look over there, and he saw it there too, like I said, and it was just, they unbelievably just break the law. That's the second time I've seen somebody do that right in front of the store. They think it's all about them. You know, they have that mentality. Who has that mentality? Yeah. I still waver on the way I see the actual people we would call narcissists. You know, I don't diagnose anybody. I'm just saying behaviors of. I just see them as somebody who really is all into the. Okay, I wound up cutting some of it out, clipping some of it out. So much stuff was going on all at once. I really was like, what the crap? And but anyway, where was I? What was I talking about? People? I don't know. I guess that was enough on that. I'm gonna go get me something to eat. And they're at home. I'm not really thrilled with eating at home anymore. And that's the bad thing, is I need to be eating at home, not eating out. But Adam is trying out cooking, and so is his niece. And I do not eat. You know, they're from a country across the globe, one of those. I really did look at the globe one day, and still can't really tell because it was online. But, and I don't eat their food. That's plain and simple. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like the texture of it. I don't. 40-something years, you know. Okay. Anyway, I went to a restaurant before I started that last clip, and the woman in the drive-thru, this is how I am. I think I've mentioned it before. She was just rude. So I was just rude back. We should never become what we hate, okay? And that's, I mean, hate is a strong word. We should never become what we dislike in others. And I shouldn't have done that, I'm stooping to that level. But sometimes I don't feel that way. Sometimes I don't feel that it's stooping to their level. Sometimes I feel like that's the only way to show some people what they're doing, is how they are. Not everybody. In fact, seldom ever. I need to start saying that more about, like when I do these job or when I go somewhere. Most often it's just normal everyday thing, nobody's has an attitude problem. But she had an attitude problem. And just things like today, like I said, the two healthcare providers that were there today, they're generally very nice. Today was an off day. People have off days. I did mention one of them, she had an attitude before. Some people, they have an attitude one day, and it could be cyclical, and with anybody, male, female, or he, she, or they, whatever. So, but really, I should not have done that. But I did let her know, and I got out of the line, and said, no, thank you, forget it. And as I was driving off, I was saying, I don't deal with attitude problems. People with attitude problems, and I'm going to be more vocal to the person. Let them know, why am I leaving? You're going to get rude to me in a drive-through? Wow. I'm really seeing this. I'm going through a little bit of a stage. I'm going through a big stage, but I'm breaking them down, it seems like, here and there. And that of how many people have tried to take their troubles out on me. Tried to. I mean, some have, I guess you'd say, to an extent, but then I let them verbally let them have it. Once they stopped, pause for a minute. And I did learn also some point that when they talk over you, just keep talking. Just keep talking. Eventually they'll shut up. I'm not giving you advice to strike that. No, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling myself. And that's what I did. And I learned they would shut up eventually. Because believe me, I had 4 siblings. I can't talk over people. No, I was never one to do, but I can just keep talking. Just keep talking. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care. I'm kind of in a funny mood. I think it's called hunger. Yeah, I'd like a little bit of food. I got me a hamburger, and that's it. I guess I could get my money out. But, where was I? Let me finish this, and then maybe I can think. Okay, remember what I say about people, and I've said it once. People in drive-thrus. Drive-thrus? Who were those women? I've only seen women wear them. Those really long fingernails, were they like 2-inch or something? And that is just, when I was, ever since I can remember, like I say, so much changes. That is against, the health department was against it, but they may have changed now because the food handlers and all this. But you're touching somebody's bag, or you're touching their car, and you have those really long fingernails, and so much. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not this is not my area of specialization at all, so don't trust me as though it's law or rule or anything or science. But it's just to me, it could be bad to me. Well, this drive-through person, actually her fingernail poked me. Seriously. She went to get my card and her fingernail poked my finger. And this is why I'm saying, I'm not saying that hers would cause anything, but no, I don't want somebody's fingernail to poke me. And where have their fingers been? I'm sorry. But my thought when I did that, I told you I have no filter. Whenever whenever they go, I mentioned this before, and it was a topic you usually don't discuss. I'm well aware of it. And like I said, no filter with stuff like this, because I don't like that. You know, what the topic was I mentioned was when they go to the bathroom. Okay, the one I mentioned before, this was how many months ago, she couldn't get my credit card. She had to put it on the countertop where she was doing whatever, and she couldn't get it off of the countertop, and it made me think, what is she like in the bathroom? Okay, I mean, just my mind went there. It did, and I don't know if anybody wouldn't. I mean, at some point, if not just listening to me, when you think, okay, these people with these really long fingernails, it's kind of disgusting. Because, like I said, back then, people who worked in any position at a restaurant or any position in medical, from what I recall, and I could be wrong here too, but they could not wear these really long fingernails, have very long fingernails. They had to be trimmed down. But now, every time I turn around, that's what I see. You know, everywhere. It's disgusting to me. It really is. If you have to touch somebody else, it's disgusting to me. Maybe you, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's because you got them on your hand right now. I think they're pretty. Some of them. I actually even complimented one of the people today, one of those, about how hers looked, but still, really, what's underneath your fingernails? Somebody needs to run a test. I'm serious. And find out what is underneath these nails. You know, just spot check somebody. Or actually do professional. That would not be professional research. Just find out for certain. What could they possibly be spreading? You know, either way, food or health. Boy, I'm on a roll today. Seriously. That just set my day off, and I'm not taking it out on you. Really not taking it out on anybody. I'm just talking about it. I don't take my problems out on people. It's just not part of my kind of personality at all. You know, if I have a problem, I'm not take it out on somebody else. It'd be rude. What's going on there? Yeah, but I'm not perfect, so hello. But anyway, you know, I saw something, actually I've seen it, I think 2 people online have mentioned this about doing these, what are they called? Well, I had mentioned one time before about secret shoppers, and I had been thinking about, I would really want to do that. I've said that for years actually, but I really would like to be a secret shopper. Now, I don't really have problems when I'm shopping with people working there too much. What I have problems with more is customers. You know, the ones that you're standing there and they think that, well, you're taking longer than they think. Okay, go pull out for me. You're taking longer than they think that, you know, you should be there. So they stand in front of you and grab something. What is that? You know, they put their hand in front of your face. I mean, you might have just walked up there and you were reaching for it yourself, and they put their hand in front of you. That kind of thing. But that was something I would like to do as a secret shopper too. Instead of this food delivery, just not working out right. Yep. And tomorrow I'm going to start a different plan. So we'll see how that goes. But secret shopper, I think, would be fine. And then, you know, but I just don't know how you get into that. You know, that takes me back to when I was a teenager. That was a long time ago. And something happened. I was with my older sister, the eldest sister. And I was a teenager, like I said. We were shopping, and she had her wallet in her back pocket. She also, back then we had things, it was the era where we had picks. People would curl their hair and have picks instead of brushes. She would have that in her other back pocket or something like that. Anyway, she reached in her pocket, her back pocket, to get her wallet, I think, to pay for something, to go up to pay for something she had in her hand. And one of these, whatever they call it now, you know, the store detective or what, loss prevention people, whatever they're calling it now. Everything changed so much. So not everything, but a lot. And come up to her and said, "Come on here, miss." And you know, I wasn't standing right next to her at that time, and I saw them across, like, I don't know, one of those racks with clothes on it or something, or two of them. And I watched and I said, "What the world? What in the world?" And so she started to take my sister away with her, and I walked up and I said, "What's going on here?" You know, and the woman turned around and looked at me, and she held up her hands and she backed off. She said, "Nothing, ma'am, nothing at all." And my sister looked at me, she said, "I am so glad you walked up," because I was 3 inches taller then, and yeah, quite the gentle giant. I've always called myself that for a long time, gentle giant, but other people don't think of that. I was not very, but I was somewhat strong-bodied, you know. Not now. Everything changed when I was 59. I started changing. Yeah, started losing a lot of muscle. But anyway, you know, it kind of reminds me of that. Not this, you know, but I don't know. For some reason, it reminds me of that. It has nothing to do with secrets, you know, being a secret shopper or anything. But anytime I think about that, I remember that situation with one of my sisters. You know, well, I guess because the loss prevention person might look like a secret shopper. Hello. Oh, I tell you, today's been a day for me. I'm serious. Hopefully you'll turn today. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. But I don't know. I think it would be kind of interesting. I like just the part of, it's a different type of job, you know, different type of working, you know, doing one of these gig works. And yeah, I think it would just be interesting. From what I've seen, you know, I'm going to go and look at some of them and see what they, I mean, I've seen what secret shoppers do as it is, but some of them I just want to see more of what they do nowadays. Like I say, so much changes. Seriously. I'm on a kick over that. So much changes. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I was going to go to a park or something, but it's already getting pretty hot. It's 11:17. So I'll talk to y'all another one. I was going to talk, wait a minute, I was going to say something about those fleet people. Wasn't I talking about? That's what I started this off as. Fleet people, like I've said before, they've stopped. I don't see them anywhere. I was going to sit there. I had considered sitting there for a little while and see if I see any more show up, because the other places I go to, I don't see them. But I do see people in different vehicles now that will do this thing of coming near me. One of them, she just outstretched her hand with her phone and videoed me as she went from in front of me to around me to park 2 or 3 parking spots down. Yeah, she was videoing me. There was nothing else there, except me sitting in my SUV. And I'll park right here for a second. And I've seen the one before her did the whole thing of parking, the whole big old parking. I'm talking big, like, look at, see this view in front of you. Longer than that, bigger than that. And hardly anybody, and they're going to come and park 2 to 3 parking spots down from me. And I think I have a really good idea of why. And it is the more north they are. Maybe they get the orders first. You see what I'm saying? And because I've had those orders, when something like that happened, just go zip, disappear. And that could be something, those two separate or those two together. Don't know. Anyway, there was a whole bunch more I was going to talk about. But this has been over months. And I really want to get home and wash my hand that her finger touched. It just grosses me out. You know, I'm really not one of those germaphobes, but that just grossed me out. It really did. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.